Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've hooked up my Boss GT-1 to my computer, and as well as that I have my new USB mic hooked up as well, so I can give you a little bit of voiceover here as I show you what it can do. I thought I would show you how the basic operations of Boss Tone Studio works, and once we load up the application, this screen right here is what you'll see. Make sure that you have your GT-1 connected to your computer using the USB cable and have your proper up-to-date drivers installed as well. The GT-1 should find the driver itself once you connect it via USB to your computer, so all that should be good. But once we load up Tone Studio, this is what we'll see here. On the right hand side here, sorry, the left hand side I should say, we have two tabs. We have an editor and a librarian. We are on the editor tab at the moment, and this shows all of our patches, and you can see they are labeled out here. On all the user patches there are a big U out in front of it and the number of the patch. If we scroll down past the last patch here, which would be 99, all of the stock factory patches will show up with a P in front of it. And these factory patches, they can be edited and loaded up. So if I press one of the factory presets here, you see that we have the name displayed right here, high gain stack. And I can go in and I can edit all of these different parameters here. However, I can't save those adjustments. That is what the user patches are for. So I can dial in a sound and listen to what it sounds like or tweak it. But on the factory presets marked with the P, you can't save those. Okay, so if we go back up to the top here, we are using the user patches here, which can be edited, tweaked, adjusted, and saved for us to return to later, or we can export or import them here in Tone Studio as well. But the basic operations here are that you can select the patches over here. Up here on the top you'll see our signal chain, anything from the input of the guitar through all the different effects, preamps and modulation, delay and reverb effects, as well as our master in the signal chain. Over here we also have an output select. We can press that one, and in here we can select our different types of output select, meaning the equipment that the GT-1 is hooked up to. And when you're hooked up via USB, you're always going to select line phones, and it should do that automatically. Up here you see we have our signal chain. We have some effects that are not activated and some effects over here that are activated. And when an effects are activated, you have the red light showing, and when they're off, you have this gray bottom over here. And we can press on the different effects and they will take us right to that specific effects block. So right now you can see that we have the preamp on here. If I press on that, I have the different type of preamp that are used, the different parameters and speaker type and all the EQ options here as well. I can adjust those, I can toggle it on or off, and all this is done from the preamp tab. I can go to something like the delay. I can select from the menu up here which type of delay that I want. I can do the same for the preamp as well. I can select a JC120, clean twin, tweet, vox, basically all of the different preamp models in here. If I'm not satisfied with the patch, I can always click clear over here, and this will initialize the patch. And once I press OK, it will delete all of the previous settings of that patch and leave it completely clean for you to start a new patch on. And I would highly recommend doing that for creating a new patch. And it will look like this, where only the preamp is activated. And you always want to have the preamp activated when you're hooked up via USB here, because you want a preamp and a cabinet to put out the sounds here. And you can select your different cabinets over here, so there are plenty to choose from. You can also set up the different layout here. This one with the pedal on it, it just shows the standard way of showing an effects pedal if you're used to tweaking those. If you press the sort of the lines or the tabs over here, you'll get them in more like the signal chain up here with the different parameters, and you can scroll down in order to get to those. I find it easier to keep it on the pedal tab and just pressing the ones that I want to adjust. We also have the CTL and EXP over here. If I press that tab, it will take us into the different selection of assigns, because the GT-1 will be able to assign multiple effects and parameters, and you can activate those via the CTL and EXP functions on the unit. You have your standard CTL, expression switch, CTL 2 and 3, and another expression if you wish to connect that. We can scroll here so you can see that we have a total of 6 assigns. We can also assign the up and down foot switches on the unit. By default it's set to number -1, number +1, meaning that it will toggle between patches up and down. And we can press that and see what other options that we have, so we can set it up to do effects as well if we just wish to have a simple layout with simple effects, for example. But we can do a separate video on that. This is just the operations here. So you can do the assigns here as well. Go in and have a look at the different parameters. And I believe that this is pretty much the overall for the editor here. You also have your tempo up here and the bank and which user patch you're on here. Of course, you press right up here on the right hand corner when you wish to save your adjustments. And if we go to the librarian setting over here, you'll see that once it loads up, we have, this shows my selection of different live sets that I've created here. And a live set is basically a folder where you save your patches or a couple of patches that you wish to export from the Tone Studio onto your computer, and then you're able to share them with people on Facebook, for example. You can also import patches that you have found online and you want to load them up to your Boss GT-1 and have a play with them. And these live sets can be exported either with all of these patches in them, or you can wish to just add one at a time if you wish to have a specific patch exported from the Tone Studio. This right here would be a patch or a list of patches that I've created, and if I want to export that, I can basically just click on it and it will be highlighted, and I can press export and select my location to save them, and I would basically have all those patches here in one file, more like a bundle, for example, and you can share that whole bundle on Facebook or any online media that will upload these files. And that's just a great way of doing these. And you can create your live sets, you can create a backup, you can apply a live set, a whole live set if you wish to do that, and you can show memo if you have created or added on some notes to this specific live patch or something. So it's really handy, and you can create a lot of those, and once you have exported those, you can basically delete them from here, and once you need them again, you can import them and they will be right here where you need them. So it's a great way, but this is just a little overview here, and there are tons more to dive into here, and I will do other videos where we take a look at the signal chain, different effects, parameters, all sorts of stuff that is useful for using the Tone Studio here. So a short little one here, guys, but thanks for watching. I'll be back soon, so have a great one.